Live. Live. From Life Enrichment Bookstore, R.I.P. Rest in pages and poetry to Vicky. Her spirit lives on in Life Enrichment Bookstore. My name is Logic Amen. I am the creator of the Griot Party Experience. Thank you for everyone tuning in to the Griot Party Experience. It's the first time we've gone live and then broadcast on social media. You could be anywhere in the internet universe, but you chose to be here, so we ain't gonna block our blessings. We wanna say thank you. Peace, peace, peace. So first and foremost, the Griot Party teaches us how to heal. And in the Griot Party Manifesto, I wrote, Griot stands for God resides in our truth. God resides in our testimony. So we're going to be sharing our testimony. So welcome to the Griot Party Experience. The Griot Party is rooted in 4 words that are intended to be the foundation of our institutions that will establish our community. The Griot Party is rooted in feel, heal, build, and grow. We need to relearn how we feel so we can know how to heal better, to build community so we can grow into the greatness of the Creator within. We often call each other kings and queens. That's cool. However, the majority of us weren't kings and queens. There are kings and queens within us all. However, the majority of us weren't elitists. We weren't rulers and chiefs. We were storytellers, comedians, artists, healers, teachers, warriors, curators, athletes, nurturers, students, and community leaders. The griot becomes all of these things once they share a story. Dave Chappelle recently said, I am a griot. His role in America brings everything full circle. Griot is the French word that means storyteller, but the original term is jali, and that word means blood. We are the blood. We keep the body moving. We are the life of the party. Hence, when we see each other, the definition of the word party. A group of people coming together for a common cause to celebrate their autonomy. The majority of us were griots, jalis. We are the blood. There will be people sharing their story for the first time today. Be patient. Be open to learn. Be open to healing. This is a safe and sacred place for you to be comfortable and at peace with your hurt. We know if we knew better, a lot of us would do better. Too many times we hurt to hurt because no one has taught us how to hurt to heal. This is your opportunity to heal. Welcome to the Griot Party Experience. Ashe, Agape, Namaste, Amen. So some time ago, I started the Griot Party Experience. I think it was 4 or 5 years ago, right down the street at the Columbia City Theater. Because one of the mission statements of the Griot Party Experiences is to reclaim the gentrified areas of Seattle. So Columbia City Theater is our Mecca. And this is our Cabo. We walk around this mic and create a cipher. So,
we just gonna heal you so we can build you, so you can grow. Yeah, yeah, we just gonna heal you so we can build you, so you
That's my man Philip Hines II on the keys and on the vocals. Give it up for him. You know, Phil and I have been friends for like almost 30 years, and then there came a time when we weren't friends anymore. We became brothers. So,
this is your 30.
Year 30, this is it. Understand the cycle. Shout out to all the people who couldn't be here today in the flesh. You're here in spirit, you're hearing the vibes. We feel your vibrations. Shout out to Tiffany Wilson, who's usually on these vocals, but my man Phil, he got us, he gonna hold us down today. Shout out to my man Micah, big brother Michael, who's usually on the strings. He gonna hold us down in spirit. Yeah. Welcome to the healing. Exodus the hurt. Exhale the devil, let the God inside your person. Death is always flirting, but we gonna keep working. Illuminate the darkness and then find the circus. Death be black be the purpose. We leaders and we here to warmth from my flame without getting burned. The goal is just to learn and get better as we serve. Travel through life, the mind and heart dances. Decorate the answers. Your body is a mansion. Speak to the meat to get under what is standing from the takeoff to landing. We market and we brand it. Food for the people. Here to feed the families. Smooth like some butter. Goddamn it, we be jamming. And we bring the light so you can keep chanting. Yeah. Take us to the next one, Phil. So, fair warning. So, we are really blessed to have a master storyteller in the house today, Ibrahim Arslan. I remember he came to the Griot party experience right down the street at Columbia City Theater, and he brought his kora. And I was like, man, what is that? He said, it's kora, it's what we play. I did a little research and found out the kora was taken away from us and then we changed it into the banjo. We had to do a lot of improvising a lot, you know what I'm saying, through the middle passage. And that's the beauty of, you know, one of the last days of Black History Month, we're here to teach. So the kora was an instrument, and I think that you're going to understand the reason why it was taken from us. When this brother get on the kora, you understand how it puts you in a trance. And I'm not going to lie, he showed up at the Griot party experience. I was like, is he going to tell us how to do it? Because he's a trained Griot from Africa. He's like, he's going to tell us how to do it. We do it our own way here in America. He said, nah, brother, I just want to add on. I had to check my ego. I said, we would love to have you. I think that was like, what, 3 years ago? So after Ibrahim, fair warning, gets done, you know, doing his thing, telling his story, pay attention. It'll put you in a trance. I just want to give you the fair warning that it ain't going to be like, oh, coming to the stage next. No, we're telling stories. This is an epic journey of storytelling to heal. So it's the last time you're going to see me until the end. And I'm going to tell you, snap out of it. It's time to heal. Everybody, Ibrahim Arslan. Peace, peace, peace.
How's everyone doing today? So, this tradition is from the Mandingo, the Mande traditions. The Mande word for griot is jelly. The work of the griot is jelliat. It can't be fully described what jelliat is, so I will tell a story. You can derive your meanings from it. During the French occupation, this tradition had gone to sleep, and the Jalilu could not be found. But one Jali, by the name of Siddiqui Jabate, had traveled from the Gambia River to the capital of the French occupation in Bamako. And there he found a students' movement called Kaira, which in Mande means peace. A student nonviolent movement built off of the model of Martin Luther King, the student nonviolent movement in the American South. He was so taken by this movement that he decided to popularize it and reawaken the tradition of the Jenny. And so he and his wife began going throughout the different countrysides of French colonized West Africa. He went throughout the regions of Mali, the areas of Kenya, all the way down to Cote d'Ivoire, parts of Senegal and Gambia, hundreds, thousands of miles, visiting towns and villages all along the way, telling people of the new movement. Suddenly, the people had a thirst for independence and a desire for unity that had not been there for a long time. And everywhere he went, you would see he and his wife, he with his cord in his hand and her beside him, and them singing songs and telling stories of the days of old, of the struggles and travails of the new, what was happening in this town or that village to these people there, uniting the people and galvanizing. Eventually, the French authorities caught wind of what was going on. They had Siddiqui and his wife in prison, confiscated his car. The people found out where he was in prison, and they came to the prison by the thousands. One could look out to the horizon and see the people everywhere. The French commandant came out to address the people and asked them why they were there, and they said, "You have arrested Siddiqui and his wife. If you hold them, you must arrest us all." So the French commandant went down below to the prison and asked the deacon, what is this qaida? What is this movement that has the people so moved, so stirred, and yet so peaceful? He says, I cannot tell you my story without my Korah. So they fetched the Korah. He tuned it and he began to play and tell the story of qaida. He said that by the time he finished playing, the French commandant was weeping and teary-eyed, defected from the French army and joined in the revolution against French occupation of West Africa. The French Empire would not allow the movement to be too peaceful for too long, as it undermined their power in the region. They began to take violent action, waging a war to reestablish control. Siddiqui now had to play a different song, playing on the battlefield behind the soldiers, keeping their morale and their spirits high, while his cousin played the Korah when the soldiers came back to bring them down, to cleanse their minds of the sin of taking human life. Thus healed, they could return to their mothers, their wives, to their families, because as the Mandate proverb states, men fight and women suffer. The independence movement spread from Bamako all throughout West Africa. Ghana at its head. And a new chapter would arise for Africa. And the French, who had been saying that the Africans were without culture, without literacy, now had to reconcile with this art form that brought their empire low. They asked Ajali, what is it precisely that you do? You're historians. He said, no. He said, you're musicians. He said, no. He said, you're storytellers. He said, no, but we do all those things and more. He said, then describe to me what you do. He said, we alone hold the keys to the 12 gates of Mandela. And by our words, the people are at peace or at war.
Tradition of the Griot party experience, that doesn't happen. That's not part of the tradition. Perfect. Okay. Sorry, that threw me. Griot party tradition, the women, that is a tradition that, so you get the introduction of what the griot is and who they are, but the women, we go first to give birth to the men to share their stories. So in that fashion, here we go. How's this way? I think I need it up a little more. Just a little bit. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Can you hear me? Good? All right, here we go. Crema, be humble. None of my super elders, those who are my great grandmothers, great aunties, or the elders in the church who were from the South, none of them used the vowel in my name. They just ran the consonants together, which resulted in me being called Crema. And she was trying to communicate to me to be humble. Humble is what it was she wanted to communicate to me. And this was the first of many times that I recall. I was about 13 or 14 years old, and during this time, my ACEs, or adverse childhood experiences, they were front and center. You see, I was extremely impulsive, haughty, and grossly arrogant. I didn't understand what my great-grand was saying to me. Humble, be humble. What does that even mean? According to Webster's dictionary, being humble is not proud nor haughty, nor arrogant or assertive. Interesting. Oxford defines it as having or showing modest or low estimate of one's own importance. Sharing those definitions, I hope you understand I was the complete total opposite, which is why my great grandmother encouraged me to be humble. As I evolved into womanhood, my great grandmother's words would come to me through various beings. In college, after delivering a presentation about standardized testing and marginalized children, long story short, it was well received by both my professor and my classmates. During our lunch break, I was being an all-out braggart about how bomb I was in my presentation delivery. It was in the tone of, I am the best, can't nobody do better, ha, 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 check me out. I was popping, yeah, I was doing all that. And then it took a friend, an older, wise friend with a calming tone and a sweet smile to say, it's called being humble, Karama. I looked up and over at her while the emotion of my great-grandmother's loving kindness washed over my spirit. I returned the smile she was giving to me. I dropped my shoulders and simply just continued my meal. Over time, I continued to receive direct life lessons related to being humble, often after being haughty, but never after being simply assertive. You see, in order to learn and apply being humble, which I'm still learning it, because I'm a consummate learner, I was learning to be quiet and listen more, to not take things personally by those connected to me personally and those who are not, to repeat back often my understanding of what I hear, and to remove myself from where I am not watered. I've also learned to saturate myself when watering in order to assure I have enough water to water others. I am humble in my connections to others as I understand the necessity of connections and I rebuke attachments. My continued and intentional evolution provides me the understanding that being humble comes from spirit. Haughtiness and gross arrogance resides in ego. The release of concern of others' ideas of me, and particularly the false ones that keep me in a place of humbleness. My journey to complete humility is a long one, but it is mine, and continuing to grow in my understanding of being humble will continue as long as I have breath in my body. Ashe.
morning after I picked up my earrings, a car exploded about 50 feet from my apartment window. Matter of fact, as I was driving away, the sky lifted up her dress and spilled rain all over my windshield. I wonder about my body and power during moments like this. Like, did I do that shit or did I do that shit? These earrings spent their first evening in a plastic bag on the doorstep of a man of whom I told I do not share my body with everyone. And while curled up next to him, I explained that sometimes I have anxiety like lightning when I get too close to people too quick. That our second time together was cuddle worthy, but not let's get undressed worthy. That sometimes I feel flames in my chest when I'm afraid, a product of sexual assault. That I'm afraid my past will try to get in bed with me again. A pain that I dream I could just shake off. But I deserve and want to feel safe in my own body. Something I've come to know about this vessel gifted to me by the cosmos. Gifted to me by my mother and father. This body is flesh. This body is powerful. This body is flesh. This body is powerful.
You were not there when I saw you. You were not there to see what I saw. You were not there to hear the cries that I heard, the child whimpering in the fields, looking for their mother. You were not there to smell the smells that I smell. Arriving at the village, a town I had seen only a month before. Almost all the inhabitants spirited away. The people not knowing where they had gone. But strange men came from the direction of the coast and hauled off all they could carry with them. seen this everywhere. You were not there when I went before the king and told him of these incursions. Seeing the king sipping upon rum and his entourage polishing newly acquired firearms. Well, completely ignorant to what is happening and quietly profiting from it. We all tried to get the people to say no. We played the song by name. We mustered the people to action, but the people were scattered and fighting and arguing amongst themselves, and all the while, people were going away. Some taken in the night, some carried away in the mist. Whole families, towns, people gone. So I'm not here to talk to you about what we thought we saw. I'm here to find out what we're going to do. The Jali gathered in council. At a time when the various kingdoms were fighting amongst each other, and the European powers seized their moment and started carrying away slaves by the thousands. For days, they argued and debated, and then at last settled upon a plan. And so I traveled to the land where the wrestlers keep the secrets of the martial science, and I learned from them. And I traveled to the various Jedi and learned what instruments they play to the different peoples that they play in their traditions. And I sat with the weavers, and I sat with the people who grew the cotton, the people who grew the indigo, the rice, the peanuts, and the crop cycles that are the backbone of the nation. And I sat with the women who run the marketplace and learned their techniques. And I sat with the mystics and the scholars, and I memorized whole texts. And I gathered up the knowledge of our people until I became a library, walking, living, breathing, speaking the truth of our people. And I and others like me came together again in council, all of us living, walking libraries of our culture, the civilization living in our heads and our hearts. Our heads were shaved, anointed, for the protection of the long journey as we were taken away. Voluntarily walking through those gates of no return, so that the connection with our people would not be broken. Surviving the nightmare of the travel across the sea of darkness, arriving at lands where our captors lived in little more than shacks. How did so lonely a people conquer we who had lived under the light of heaven for so long? I heard and understood the languages of the people, some of them stirring and rousing saying we must fight. And as those took to fighting and others took to rebelling, I and others like me kept our heads low. Constructed the banjo from the instruments we once played, wrote from memory the books that we once studied and the libraries that we lost, told new stories from the old ones so that our children would know who we were, even as they were taken away from us too young. All on the belief that one day we'd find our way back home. And I lived and died this way many generations until coming ends. In this life, I found myself in the market in Timbuktu, there to learn this instrument and this tradition. And the elders told me the stories of those who had voluntarily gone away to keep our people home, and how they were gladdened that one of their sons who had left had returned home.
Opposition of many who thrive in its void. Can you endure the strain? Are you prepared to battle the enemies of unity, no matter the obstacles and distractions placed in front of you? Are you among the warriors in the fight for true freedom, apprehensive, maybe fearful, but determined nonetheless to travel the path before you? Can you be depended upon to lend your efforts to the quest for our rightful place in humanity? Not merely consumers, but creators, builders, movers, and shakers, no longer subject to a world's insanity. Are you to be counted on to receive, reach, learn, and teach, to pray and preach to the masses, the few, the many, the one? Are you ready to stand and look your fears, your prejudices in the eye, and to once and for all face what part you play, and determined to vanquish the curse and consequences of hatred and bigotry, starting within? Can we be assured that you are now able to surmise that our success as a people will not be given? It must be gained through a combined effort, a collective endeavor, a unified movement.
They will watch me grow. They will watch me
They'll watch them grow in our water. They'll watch them grow in our water. They'll watch them grow.
We learn how to grow from raising children. The reason why young people tell stories is because that's what makes buildings. They be building, reminding us while we're in the house to nurture what grows in the field. And like ears of corn, they be listening, watching how we move in the language that speaks when we move our feet. They tried to bury us, but they forgot that we were seeds. They tried to put us beneath dandelions, but they forgot we get high off weed. They tried to kill us when they hung us from trees, but they didn't cut down the sycamore. So we kept reaching out, growing as one of its leaves. We are scabs turned into tattoos. We stay black, brown, and blue because we wear the bruise. We are the nocturnal plants who grew from the light of the moon. Brides and grooms who stayed married to maroon. Colony of butterflies who never lost the connection to our cocoons. We are the black light, you are the greenhouses, and we making everything inside of you bloom. Our children grow nettles to protect their petals, and too many times we step on those petals to move forward thinking they can take the pressure because they are made of metal. Incredible. We think because children are plants, they are edible. I said, we think because children are plants, they are edible. Our children are our memory. They make our mistakes unforgettable. Pay attention to understanding. It provides the wisdom to develop and determine what we know. You see, I water seeds so I can learn how to grow. I said, I water seeds so I can learn how to grow. I water seeds so I can learn how to grow. I say, God, namaste. Amen. They watch me grow in our water. They watch me grow. We got to understand, never ever forget to see ourselves in the seeds, because when we do that, we stop growing as trees. Translation: never stop as an adult seeing yourself as a child. That's when you stop growing. Too many times we treat children how we wouldn't want to be treated as adults. And that's the reason why we stop growing. Peace.
They will watch me grow in our water. And they will watch me grow.
Karama, aka Karamaisms.
I'm Chelsea Richardson.
Arsalan Ibrahim.
Elijah Hassan Louis, aka 16th the Message.
I'm Philip Hines II. Thank y'all.
And I'm Logic Man. Thank you for joining us for the Griot Party Experience 10.0 virtually. Please, $ Logic Man proceeds go to all the griots that shared their story today. Thank you for being patient with all the technical difficulties and whatnot. We'll be right back at you again, and where practice makes perfection, or maybe what's ideal. So we love y'all. Thank y'all. Make sure y'all log on to www.griotparty.com and stay tuned for more Griot Party Experience. Peace, 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 peace.